So there's a big update from the Trump org fraud trial, and Eric Trump, his name is now part of it. Yeah, the son of Donald Trump, not the one we always hear about, but Eric Trump. Maybe this is why he doesn't talk all that much. The former controller of the Trump organization says that Eric directed him to make certain decisions that led to the inflated valuations of several of Trump properties. This is one of those big things they're talking about with those inflated assets and properties that he's in trouble for. It's not just him that does it. Of course, this guy doesn't act alone. Here's some details from CNN. Internal Trump org spreadsheets shown in court on Friday, they showed notations by McConney that say Eric Trump directed McConney, who was one of these associates, in phone conversations about certain property valuations that would later appear on the financial statements the judge in this case has ruled fraudulent. McConney testified that those phone calls that Eric Trump directed him to factor certain things into calculations that ultimately led to what the New York Attorney General says are inflated valuations of properties, including Seven Springs and the Trump National Golf Club, Westchester. The things that Trump likes to brag about, to talk about how big of a name he is and how awesome and perfect he is in everything that he does. We're beginning to see those continue to peel back. What is real? We'll see some more. Because attorneys for Eric Trump have also argued that he was not aware of any of these phone conversations with McConney and how they were used to formulate value assets in these financial statements. Is it that he wasn't there, or is it that he doesn't know about it?
That's my favorite part of this entire story is Eric Trump is like, well, I was just on the phone. We were just like, shooting the breeze and like talking about prices and stuff. And I didn't know that was gonna like affect anything. Like what? You were on the phone telling the guy to make the prices higher. And you're like, well, but we were just talking about stuff on the phone, like, chit-chatting like girls.
I'm inclined to believe him. Have you seen Eric Trump talk about business or anything else that has any importance? It sounds like he doesn't know what he's ever talking about. Maybe that's the cover that's supposed to be like, don't tell Eric, because it'll be our best cover, because it's really real that he doesn't know what's going on. Here's more of what McConney said he was told to do. Indicating 71 unbuilt units as realized profits when valuing Trump's Briar Cliff golf course, failing to factor rent stabilized apartments when valuing Trump's Park Avenue property, and adding the value of the Trump brand in their calculations of some of Trump's golfing properties. These contradicting financial statements explicitly stating the opposite of the reality that was going on. You guys remember that judge that many folks on Fox and many conservatives were talking about when the camera panned to him and he had that cheesy smile because he had no idea what to do about this camera in the middle of the courtroom. Judge Engoron, in his September pretrial ruling, he gave New York Attorney General Letitia James the ability to revoke and deny Trump's New York business licenses over all of these inflated values. The trial is now underway, and it's going to determine if Trump intentionally inflated his net worth to secure these benefits when applying for these loans. Again, everyone who supports this guy, and you talk about how he's this multi-billionaire and he's someone to look up to. Imagine if you tried to go into a bank, get a loan for anything, a car, and you inflated your net worth and how much you make, your income and all this, and then they just let it happen for however many years, and now you're on the hook, and they'll say this is a two-tier justice system.
No, I mean, not only like going to the bank and trying to get a loan, but being like, yeah, I have these properties that haven't been built yet, by the way.
Right. Yeah.
I have this parking lot that eventually will be an apartment building, but I'm gonna count it as an apartment building right now. Like you guys are cool, right? You guys are cool. I could start collecting rent at some point, eventually. Like these things weren't even built yet. And they're like, he's like, yeah, I'm totally collecting rent on that.
This is what Donald Trump made his money on, was his name. So he could go to maybe some people with these financial transactions, say, I'm Donald Trump though, so eventually I'm gonna make some kind of money off it because I sell it constantly. Not the actual building or the apartments or even the damn parking lot. It's just my name. And if that's the way that's always worked, which, okay, but we should understand this is what he's built, is his name. And now I guess he's destroying it, or we're seeing some of those details of it. Still, I mentioned Judge Engoron, and there was also, how many of these Trump attorneys come for either the attorney generals, the prosecutors, and also now the judges. They had a lawsuit out against this judge, and that didn't turn out that well either. Because as the judgment on this does draw near, his legal team withdrew that suit against Judge Engoron. The former president's attorneys withdrew that, and which had been seen as a long shot attempt to stop his real estate empire from being dismantled after he found that Trump and his adult sons had filed these fraudulent financial statements. It was kind of like throwing anything against the wall and see if it would stick. It didn't, so they moved on to the next thing. These are all the ins and outs of these back and forths of these trials and these legal proceedings that we maybe don't hear a lot about because, yeah, sure, it's kind of boring, but it does show that they're trying many things and many of these other things are just not working. Similarly, when it came to the 2020 election, there was 18 different cases where he tried and they tried and they tried and they said, yo, we looked into it directly. That ain't it, bro. Move on to the next.
I feel like Trump's legal team has gone to like the C team, the D team, and the F team. Because like everybody knows that he doesn't pay his lawyers, like he doesn't pay anybody that works for him. So like all the top tier people have left, and now it's like the C team, the D team, and the F team are like, let's try suing the judge. No, okay. Let's try suing this. No, okay. Let's try. So it's definitely not the A team on the Trump.
Well, I think this was the D team on this. They got somewhere with it, but potentially maybe this is the C team over in Georgia because they're coming from Fani Willis. It's the same playbook. It's just in another case.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.